Hello, good morning, good evening, and doesn't matter when you are watching this video. Today, in our studio, we have the Asterigos, the Curse of the Stars. It's no secret that the From Software Souls series had a massive effect on modern action RPGs. It spawned an entirely new genre in the Souls-like and inspired a slew of games that try to capture the same feelings those games evoke. It's also become so prevalent that I've honestly gotten burned out by them, especially when so few stand up to the quality of the From Software titles. Enter Asterigos, Curse of the Stars, an indie game that has lived the best elements from the Soulsborne series while sprinkling in different mechanics to feel completely fresh. It's less Souls-like and more Souls-like. Set in the Greco-Roman inspired city of Ephesus, Asterigos, Curse of the Stars sees the player controlling Hilda, a young warrior following after her father and his brand of men that entered the city but never returned. Upon entering, she finds that the city has been stuck with the title curse for the last 1,000 years. The aspirants have been unable to get the entire time and live for 100 of years under martial law. Hilda quickly meets with a group called the Ardentists, and in exchange for helping to save the city, they help Hilda to find their father. While this starts as fairly standard setup, Asterigos has deeper themselves underneath it through the 30-hour runtime that tackles subjects like class caste system, family vs duties, surviving guilt, xenophobia, and political religious conflicts. It's also where it differs from the Souls game in the clearly takes influence from. It's a story-heavy game as the Asterigos keep me engaged through its entirely. It's filled with compelling and surprisingly characters, each with own motivations, histories, and side quests to flesh out not just themselves but the world of Asterigos. Apes are in a city full of history, and there is a ton of world building throughout conversation for many, over 250 richly detailed documents littered around the place. It's not just in writing content either. The city is meticulously detailed and is genuinely outstanding design. Like its inspiration, Apes is the big map of several interconnected areas. Each of these areas is filled with the gorgeous architecture and fantastic art design. Visually, it shares a lot in common with the Immortal Phoenix Rising of Kina, Bridge of Spirits. It's packed with a charm and gorgeously animated too. Asterigos is loaded with the attention to detail, and in this regard, be it character models, environments, or general level design, it all comes together to make Apes feel like a real place that's been falling apart for a millennium. It's also got some of the best level shortcuts I've ever outside from the soft on. It's outstanding, and I often find myself taken aback by how well it connected to the rest of the area. All these areas expand outwards from the Asterigos central hub, the shelter. It's where you go to main your quest, upgrade your equipment and items, and walk with the members of the adherents. The shelter is a great hub area that expands with new features, functions, and characters as you progress through the Asterigos story. It is also a great piece of music associated with it. The soundtrack is overall pretty great, with some areas having great use of dialectic sound as you heard of boss. So Asterigos has a great world to explore, but none of that would matter if the gameplay didn't stack up. Thankfully it does, and within the gameplay it starts to differ from the Souls-like formula and set it apart in a sea of similar titles. Firstly, difficulty points. You can choose one of 3 options: story for those looking for an easy time, adventure, this game default, and a challenge, which is described as for the player who embraces breaking self-limits or conquering what others could not overcome. I played through the Asterigos on adventure, and it was never too hard, but it means to a cakewalk, especially towards the latter half, but I didn't find it more forgiving than the other Souls-likes. So, if you want that harder difficulty, you're best picking up the challenge. There is also New Game Plus, which carries over your level and some equipment items while increasing the difficulty too much. The concept of the corpse run simply doesn't exist in Asterigos. Instead of dying and leaving behind your stardust, collect your lost 10% of whatever have you died. Leveling is XP based. You use only the star darts for the buying items or upgrading crafting gear, with XP gained simply to beating up your enemies. You get 1-2 attribute points when you level up to the bump one of the attributes: the precision, which increase your damage, the constriction, which increase your max HP, and the arcane, which increase your skill damage and AP recovery rate. You also receive a talent point to purchase skills, perks, and augments for each of the game's 6 weapons from the talent disc, a brand skill tree, and you can level up from the game menu at any time, so you don't need to wait to get a conduit or a specific NPC. The most intermediate challenge from the other Souls inspired titles is the Asterigos' frankly excellent combat system. You're given all 6 weapons types almost immediately. Each weapon starts from a basic 3 and a 4 hit combo and a unique technique: the sword and shield of the people that want strong defense. The judges have an easy move with a high invisibility for the people who enjoy high mobility playstyles. The spears has a bit more range and gives you a pretty parry for players that like a more active defense. The hammer hits hard and has a whirling swing that hits enemies around you. The bracelets attack with the magic for mid-range combat and gives you some area control by placing them magical mines. The staff is long-range option, with its ability to aim it like a magical sniper. Each weapon can be upgraded throughout the game up to 10 plus at the sheltered blacksmith and various crafting materials, which simply boost the weapon damage. What's truly impressive is that every single one of these weapons is fun to use right off the bat, and you can equip any 2 of them at one and challenge them at any time. Each weapon combats in and out of the other with specific attack. There are also moves for detaching from you, dodge and sprint. Every weapon has a lot of utility, and experimenting with different combinations makes a lot of fun. I gravitated for the daggers for this speed and dodge ability, with the staff for some added range. It even gave me some extra mobility, as it has blast that shooks you back if you combo into it from the other weapons, which is great given the daggers are really close up melee option. I should also mention that the regular attacks don't use stamina SP, it's only used for your dodge, sprinting, and each weapon unique technique. You also have an extra meter, the AP meter. This is using for skills that unlock you from the talent discs. Each weapons 4 skills, with another skills being universal. You can assign 4 skills at once and each speed different amount of AP. There are torgible perks augments in the talent disc that alter how weapons function. For example, you can switch the dagger for the hit to beat you move endlessly, or unlock the ability to change your stuff that goes more stamina. There's even a separate system for switching between 4 different elements to explore weakness by dealing different damage types. I've ever given certain moves completely different effects. There's lots of freedom with the Asterigos combat system, as you engage it most of little you want. So, Acme Game Studios has delivered an incredible debut with the Asterigos, Course of the Stars. If, like me, you've been suffering from Souls-like burnout, this might be the game for you. It's gorgeous to look at, constantly engaging, and absolutely joy to play. Asterigos is just one of the best indie games I ever played this year, but one of the best, most complete games I've played in a long time. Indie or otherwise, it's outstanding, honest to goodness, adventure made with love, sincerity, and attention to detail. It's incredible. I play it and suggest you to play it. Thanks for watching. Yo, don't forget to subscribe, comment, hit those likes and the bells. Bye.